Okay, we're going to open Photoshop and I'm going to show how to do a wireframe setup. Go to Photoshop, File, New, dialog box will open. We're going to title this Wireframe. The width will be 985 pixels, height will be 1000 pixels, resolution 72 pixels, RGB color 8-bit, background contents transparent, Adobe RGB 1998 in square pixels. So that's what you'll have to enter to create the dimensions of the new file, which will come up like this. Then we're going to look at the rectangle tool, which is here. Now, if I go Control and click on that, I'll see there's different types of shapes that I can select. So if you open up your Photoshop and you see no rectangle tool, but you'll see this in this location here, just do a Control click and then you can select rectangle. Okay, so the rectangle, to create a rectangle, because that's what wireframes are, it's a bunch of rectangles that we're going to outline on our page. We'll double click on the background here on the canvas and it comes up with this dimensions box. We're going to add in 985 by 1000, which is the size of our entire page. Okay, and so that creates a box here. So the second tool that we're going to learn about is the move tool, which is up here. It's always at the top. And so you see the it gets highlighted. We're going to click on this, hold it, and drag it so that now it fills up our entire box. What you saw before here, the checkers here, that means it's transparent, so there's nothing there. And this is a rectangle that we created, which is white. So we'll put the rectangle, oops, there, so it's white. And if we go back to the rectangle box, we can look up here. We'll see that the fill is white. Obviously there could be lots of other colors we could fill it, but we just filled it with white. And the stroke here, that means the outline, and we'll create some outlines like around our header. So let's go back to the rectangle and we can click in here and we can do our header. Our header will be 985 pixels wide and our height will choose for our header, let's say 140. Enter, and there's the box. So we'll go back up to the move tool to highlight that box and we're going to move it up to the header there. Now I'm going back to the rectangle tool and I'm going to put in a outline. I'll pick this brown color. It'll be at 3 points thickness, and so now you see there's a rectangle around there. The other thing I want to mention is here, this is the layers panel, so that we've just created two different things here. The first is the main rectangle. I'll hide that up. So the first is the white big square rectangle. We're going to rename it by double clicking on the name there to call it main. Enter. And then the second rectangle we created up top here that we've outlined. You see how this layer is highlighted? We're still on the main one. And I want to go to the second layer here to rename this to header. Enter. And it's very important to have these different layers to identify them with labels, otherwise you can start getting confused. So let's go back and create another rectangle. We'll do a 985 by 40, which will be our menu bar. We'll click on that, enter OK, and again back to our move tool, and we're going to move that underneath the header. And as you notice, back to our rectangle tool, there's already an outline there because it keeps the settings the same as the last time we did it. If I didn't want to have a rectangle, this menu bar rectangle without borders, I could just simply go back up here and put no stroke. So there would be no, you can see it there, but if I go to another line you see that it's not there. Like if I go to the header box, you won't be able to see the menu bar line here. But it is there, because if I go back to my rectangle, it's there. It's just not outlined. Okay, let's create another rectangle. I would like to do, say, image box, and oh yeah, this is another way that we can create rectangles. Like you see, I didn't just double click into I just drew the square, and you see here that created rectangle. I'm going to call this, I don't know, box 1. And then say I want to create another one. I could, I'm still in my rectangle tool here. I could either double click on here, in which case it gives me the dimensions of the box I just last used. So I know that this box here is 313 by 236. Okay, let's just say okay. And you see, I don't have any outlines around them, so it's hard for me to see what they are. Box 2, when I'm not in it. So if I go back down here, I've got boxes in here, but I don't see them because I don't have any outlines. So I'll just find it. So this is my main box. So, you know, there it is, the main one. And the header is here. I can just toggle these little eyes here that show and hide. So that hides that. This is a rectangle 1. I don't remember what that is. What is that? Oh, that's my menu bar. I forgot to menu. I forgot to name it. And with the menu bar, I'm going to go up here and I'm going to put the stroke here as well. Same thing. My first box, number 1 here. See, I click on this layer. It shows me where it is, but it's not outlined. I want to put an outline. I'll put that in. And box 2 is there. I'll outline that as well. And but now I want to move it because it's not in line. So I'll go to the move tool, highlights it, and I'm going to move it. So it's there. All right. Now, if you notice, the dimensions were 313 or something like that. If I want to make these boxes bigger or smaller, I'm in my move tool right now. I can easily just take this and make it bigger, make it smaller. I'll make it a little bit bigger. And I want to make this other box bigger, but I can't click on this other box here. I have to go to that layer where that other box is. I have to enter that. Go to the one box there. I'm still in my move tool, and I can make that as big and match it to there. Terrific. Enter. Now, when you submit the wireframes, you're going to have to indicate the pixel size of this. So we've stretched it out with the move tool, so I don't know what the pixel size is. So let's find out. I'll go back to my rectangle tool here, and I'll click on there, and I see that it's 313 by 290. I'm still on the second box, so that's this box here. That's the layer I'm on. Say I want to make it, I don't know, an even 300 by 300, make it a nice square. Actually, that created a new one. See, it created a new one here. Okay, so now I'm like, oh my God, I've got 3 rectangles. Let's move this one here. That's the one I want. And this second one, I'm gonna either delete it or hide it. So like I'm hiding it here, but you know what? I'll want to delete it because this is the size that I want, the perfect square. So if I go back to rectangle 1, no, that's my new one. Okay. That's the new one I made. Okay, this is the one I want to delete. So the way to delete it is I can just click on it and hold it and drag it down to this trash bin here at the bottom. So now this is the new one that I did. That was a good square by 300 by 300. I'm going to name that box 2 because I couldn't name it before box 2 because it was these are all unique names. And I want to go back to box 1, and I'm going to go back up to my move tool and adjust it so that it's the same size. I'll apply that same size. If I go back to my move tool and this is 313. Okay, I don't want 313. You know, if I change it, it's going to be 300. It's going to create a new layer with that, as you see there. I can do the same thing. I'll move this back up here. Yeah. So that's my good one. And the one I want to get deleted is this back one back here. Yeah. So this is the box that I want to get rid of. I'll move that to, if I can get that in the trash. And so this is the box I like, my box 1. Okay, so I've just shown you how to create boxes, how to resize them, how to check their dimensions, or create new boxes with the right dimensions. Because some of it's going to be trial and error as you're trying to figure out how to lay stuff out. Let's do a footer. This time I'm just going to draw it there like that. That's where I like it. I'm going to call this footer. So you see how I have different layers. If I want to rearrange these a bit differently because they're not overlapping, I can easily just move the footer by holding it and dragging it above. Not that it really makes a difference. See, that's my footer. This is my second box. This is my first box, the menu bar, the header, and my main page, which, you know, if I take it off, you'll see that it's there. So that's pretty much how to use the two tools of rectangle tool, move tool, watching which layer you're on, and renaming the layers to make sure things are organized. It's going to become very important once you see later how to organize stuff. And the rest of this inside here is how you want to lay out your page. That's pretty much it. All right, let me just stop recording.